guys, now we're going to go ahead and start adding some color to our abstract banner. You're going to be using liquid watercolors. These are really nice because they blend really well and your colors will be really bright. But one thing you do have to be careful about is that if you do not clean your brush in between each color, then you're going to end up having all your colors mixed together and nobody at your table is going to be very happy with that. So be very careful that you are washing your brush between every color. And whenever you're done rinsing, make sure that you wipe, don't tap. That way we don't splatter our friends. So I'm going to show you a couple techniques. The first one I'm going to show you is wet on wet. So I'm just going to take my brush with some clean water and I'm just brushing the water across my painting. Alright, so what I've done is gone ahead and painted all this with just water. So what I'm going to do now is take my brush and just with a little bit of paint, just touch it to that water. And as I touch it, you'll see that it'll go ahead and start spreading on its own. And I can help it move along a little bit. But for the most part, it'll kind of do its own thing. What's kind of cool with this is that you can go ahead and blend colors with this way. So think about colors on the color wheel, they're next to each other. So like blue and purple, they blend really well, so it's okay to have them kind of touching. And then I can get kind of a nice blue-purple mix right there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that area turned out. You'll notice that I have some spots where it's still white. Those are areas where I did the white oil pastel. And no matter how much I brush over those, that white is still going to want to show through. So if you have those spots, don't get frustrated. That's just part of your design. So just go ahead and embrace that. What I'm going to show you next is how to take and add some salt to your painting. And this will make some darker and lighter areas for you. So let's go ahead and do this closer to the top. And I'll use some of my hot colors, so it'd be like orange, red, and yellow. And I'm going to start with red. Now you want to work pretty quickly whenever you're doing this, because if you want your paint dry, this technique does not work as well. So it still needs to be wet so that the salt can stick to it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just take a little pinch of salt and I'm going to sprinkle it over my wet paint. And you don't need very much. That little pinch is plenty. So I'm going to leave that area. Don't wipe the salt off. We'll do that later when it dries. And I'm going to move on to some other spots. I think what I'll do is take a little bit of yellow and I'll blend it right along here. So notice when I touch that yellow to the red, it starts mixing, and since those colors make orange when they mix together, that's why I'm getting that orange color. Also, the crayon kind of gives you a nice little barrier, so if you don't want your colors to mix completely, that kind of gives you a nice spot to stop. Alright, so I have that much done. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my area up here. And I want to show you one more technique using rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle. Check and make sure that your spray nozzle is just open a little bit because you don't want it spraying a whole lot. You don't need very much to do this at all. Let's see, I haven't really used any green yet, so I'm going to take some green. A little bit of that up here. Keep in mind, you can do whatever colors you'd like. If you don't particularly want to do kind of a rainbow scheme, you can make up your own color scheme as you go. You can use complementary, you can use analogous colors. It's your choice. Okay, same thing as with the salt. You don't want to let it dry too much, because if it gets too dry, this technique doesn't work quite as well. How about I'm going to go ahead and get this area in too so that I can have plenty of space to show you this. So with just a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just give it a little squeeze. Not very much. And you're just going to leave it. One little squirt is really all you want. And what that's going to do is these little areas where the alcohol touches it, it's going to make it just a little bit lighter and it'll kind of give you like a speckled design. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and continue filling in the rest of this. One more thing that I wanted to show you is splatter painting. Splatter painting is whenever you take your brush and just using the tip of your finger, you pull it back so that it makes the brush actually flick little droplets of paint out onto your design. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this orange, and I would like to use the red because I don't want to use a complementary color that might turn it brown like blue, but the red will still show up. So what I'm going to do, I just have a little bit on here, pull back with my finger, and it's going to make these little red speckles all over that area. Right here in the white, I can do that too. How about in that area, I'll try to use some green, but I want to be careful not to get too much into my red or my orange. The same thing. Just pull it back. And there you go, there's my finished banner. I'm going to let this sit for a little while so that any of these kind of wet puddly areas have a chance to dry before I pick it up, otherwise they might run. If you want to make that part of your design, you could. If you want to pick this up, give it a shake and let some of the colors run down. That'd be fine, but not everybody wants to do that. Alright, we are finished.